What's up, everyone? It's Teddy, aka JamesKisau on MTGO, and welcome to Avatar: The Last Airbender release week. It feels like we barely just got back into the swing of things after Eternal Weekend, after a huge ban hit the format, and now it's a release week video. And this one is quite a bit more exciting than the Spider-Man one. I even put off the Spider-Man one because there was so much going on in the format. There's arguably even more going on in the format right now, but I think this set is so exciting and so many people are talking about it that we just have to do this. It takes a little pressure off me this week too, because we did put up a trophy last week. Spoilers, sorry for anyone who hasn't seen that league yet. It was a pretty wild one and a pretty good one. So the last release week video, we cast Gobin a few times and that was about it. But this time we have a few more cards that might be actually pretty viable. I've chosen a handful. One in particular has gotten a lot of hype. I'll talk about it when I get to it. I think you probably know which one it is. But as always, let's go in order of CMC, and then we'll move over to the sideboard. Um, so there is a new cycle of rare lands. They're all pretty interesting. They enter tapped unless you control a basic land, which is something we're actually pretty good at. Maybe even better than the Tarkir Dragonstorm cycle for us, since those ones asked for a specific type of land. This one is just asking for a basic land, which we usually have some number of. So this one adds blue, okay, and then you can pay 2 in blue to draw a card, then discard a card, so it's a loot on a land. Pretty good for filtering if you don't have anything else to do. A little better than Castle Vantress in that you're actually moving through your deck and fueling things like Cling to Dust or from the Catacombs or what have you, but it's hard to evaluate Scry 2 versus Loot. I think this is better because it can also help you fix your hand, whereas Scry 2 doesn't really do that too much. It's kind of like a Ponder versus a Brainstorm in a lot of ways. It's also cheaper to activate. Vantress, I think, is 2 blue, which is pretty intense. So yeah, we'll try it out. And then on to the black one, Realm of Ko. Same thing, you just need a basic land. Pretty easy for us. Makes black. So to make room for these, I cut the Lorien Revealed and a basic Swamp. I know it's kind of counterintuitive to cut a basic when you bring in lands that want you to have basics, but I think 4 should be plenty. Okay, so yeah, makes black, and then you can tap 3 into black to make a 1/1 spirit token with it can't be blocked or block non-spirit creatures. There aren't too many spirits in the format. There's like Skyclave Apparition and probably a few others that I can't think of right now. But in general, this might be our very own Changeling Outcast type thing. Could be pretty good for ninjutsu purposes. We'll see. I'm excited to try it out. This one is also similar to one of the Eldraine lands I just realized, the Castle Ardenvale, which was a control deck classic. You just made 1/1s when you didn't do anything else, and it made it very hard to outgrind control decks when they were holding up their interaction, so you didn't really feel like you could make a move. We'll see if it works out for us the same way. Okay, next up we have Katara, Waterbending Master, 1 in a blue, for 1/3. Decent stats, I suppose. And then whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, you get an experience counter. Something we do fairly often. And whenever this creature attacks, you may draw a card for each experience counter you have, and if you do, discard a card. So after the first experience counter, that is loot 1, but every experience counter after that, you're netting cards, which is pretty good. It might be kind of hard to have this survive combat as a 1/3, but we'll try it out. Seems like a really cool card. Cool thing about experience counters is that they don't leave pretty much ever. You have to have something that removes counters from players, like a reverse proliferate kind of effect, which is pretty uncommon. So we just might find the right spot for this. Next up, there is Lost in Memories, 1 in a red. This card has flash, and enchant creature you control, and the creature gets +1/+1, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you get to Snapcaster Mage a instant or sorcery in your graveyard. Yeah, which is pretty cool. If it did not have flash, I don't think it would be very playable at all, but it does have flash, so we're going to try it out. I'm pretty excited to try this one. We don't often have enchantments in our deck for Baragoi reasons and stuff, so this could be kind of interesting. Next up is the card that's been getting tons of hype, Wan Shi Tong, Librarian, X blue for legendary creature, has flash, which is insane, flying, and vigilance. It is a 1/1, but it has a triggered ability when it enters. You put X 1/1 counters on it, and then you draw half X cards rounded down. And then whenever an opponent searches their library, you put a 1/1 counter on Tong and draw a card. So I think it's important to compare this to Archivist of Agma. When that card came out, people were like, wow, we're going to draw a million cards off this thing. Opponents are just going to get buried because fetching is so important. It is, but it never really works out that way. And also, this card is very vulnerable as a 1/1. There is a window, kind of a small window, though, to address it as a 1/1, since the triggered ability will go on the stack once it resolves. But that's usually still enough for opponents to address it with Orcish Bowmasters or what have you. It's also 2 blue pips, which is kind of hard to accommodate early on. But it does have Flash, which is completely busted on creatures. I think another important card to compare this to is Opposition Agent. If you think of it as a way to fight the Green Sun Zenith decks by just getting value over them whenever they're searching their library. I mean, it's not as outwardly devastating as Opposition Agent. Well, maybe it is. Maybe us drawing cards would be really bad for the opponent, but in general, I think Opposition Agent will probably be a little bit better. But this card also does scale. You do have to invest 4 mana into it before you can draw 1 card with it, which is a lot. It's not really like Baleful Strix in many ways at all, even just because it's so much further up the curve if you wanted to do a Baleful Strix thing. But yeah, it has Flash. I think that's like the main selling point for me, because Flash creatures are busted. At the same time, you don't want to like dump a lot of mana into this and have it get countered or red blasted or something. There's not a lot of red blast in the format. I'm excited to try this card out. It's been getting tons of hype. I'm cautiously optimistic about it. I think it could be okay. I don't think it's amazing, but I'm really excited to play with it today. And I could be entirely wrong. The Flash on this could just make it completely oppressive and really hard to get a good exchange on. We'll see. Okay, up next, Fire Nation Occupation. 2 in a red, and when it enters, you make a 2/2 red creature token with Firebending 1. Firebending's pretty interesting. Whenever that creature attacks, you generate X mana, which is, Firebending X, however big that number is. Unfortunately, you can't use Firebending mana to pay for ninjutsu, because that cost is paid in the blocking or later step. So, yeah, you can't ninjutsu in the attacking phase. But what you can do is use instants to blow surprise blockers out of the way, which is kind of cool. I like that about Firebending, and we are a deck that runs burn spells like Lightning Bolt, Fatal Push, Kolaghan's Command. Could be pretty good. We'll see. I mean, you'll never Firebend and cast Fatal Push. I don't know why I just said that. That is a 1 black spell. Maybe if there's a Mycosynth Lattice out, I don't know. And then whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, you make another one, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like, well, it's not like Bitter Blossom. It kind of reminds me of those Wild of Eldraine cards where it was whenever you cast your second spell or draw your second card, something like that. But this seems a lot more reliable, and it could possibly churn out a lot of 2/2s. And 2/2s are busted. If you know anything about Fable the Mirrorbreaker, you know that 2/2s are busted. I don't think you can really compare this to Fable the Mirrorbreaker, but it does make a token that makes mana when it attacks. That's also a 2/2 and red. It's kind of interesting. Okay, next up, Foggy Swamp Spirit Keeper, 1 blue-black for a 2/4 with lifelink, busted. This is our Barrelgoyf sub for the league. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, you make a 1/1. This might not be strong enough. I don't know why I put this in here. We're going to play with it, though. Actually, this is not very good. That's okay. I wanted to put a bunch of new cards in, so here we are. Then we also have Firelord Azula for 1 blue, black, red. Gaia Hone Dihada mana costing. It's a 4/4 with Firebending 2. And whenever you cast a spell while Azula is attacking, you copy that spell. So that's pretty cool. You can make red, cast a Kolaghan's Command with a little extra black, and then you get 2 Kolaghan's Commands. It's pretty crazy. Excited to try that out. Over in the sideboard, got a couple options. We got Zao the Moonslayer, 1 in a red for a 2/2 with Menace. Non-basic lands enter tapped. That is a global effect. It might not help us out very much, but it also might. We'll see. And then for 7, you can put a Conqueror counter on it, and as long as there is a counter conqueror counter on him. Non-basic lands are mountains, so it becomes a Blood Moon. It becomes a Magus of the Moon, essentially, with Menace. So yeah, interesting card. Blood Moon hasn't felt really fast enough or playable recently. I don't think a Blood Moon that costs 9 virtual mana is any better, but it does apply pressure, so we'll try it out. Redirect Lightning. This card has also gotten a lot of hype this spoiler season for 1 red, and then additional cost. You pay 5 life for 2, so it could be 3, or it could be just 1 red and 5 life, and then you change the target of a spell or ability with a single target. So forks are not usually legacy playable, or you don't see a lot of forks in legacy, I will say. Probably Commandeer is the closest you can get to finding one. But this one might be aggressively costed enough. 5 life is a lot, but, you know, we're still going to try it out. This is like our Flusterstorm stand-in, I guess. Then we got my Scornful Striker, 1 in a black, first strike, 2/2, pretty good stats. And whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, they lose 2 life. Also global, also might really hurt us, but it might be worse for our opponents. We shall see. Day of the Black Sun is the last card here. It is a nice sweeper for X black. Each creature with mana value X or less loses all abilities and then destroy them. So this is a sweeper that you could kind of scale. It's I guess it works really well against Merit Lage. For just black, you can wipe a Merit Lage. But Merit Lage is not usually vulnerable at sorcery speed. But I'm just saying, you could do it. It's also a modal sweeper, which is really nice for us. If you just want to wipe all the tokens, like Urza's Saga constructs or whatever, but keep your Baleful Strix or Bowmasters around. You can't keep the army in that scenario, but I think it could be pretty cool. So yeah, tons of new cards today. It's really important to try out new cards and see what they're all about. Should be a pretty good video this week. If you'd like to support the channel yourself, check out the Patreon. Like, comment, subscribe. Also goes a long way. And yeah, I think we should just jump into it. Let's try out these new cards. Well, I hope everyone's excited for some new cards, because I'm sure they'll be around here somewhere. This hand's definitely a keep. I do get a lot of feedback when I do these release week videos of, oh, you keep shuffling away and citing out the new cards. And I think that should tell you everything you need to evaluating a card. Like, we're not going to cast the card to let it do its thing that will make us lose, but we are going to evaluate the cards in the situation and, like, project what they are going to do if I cast them. And if it's not good enough and if I still lose, then I won't cast it and I'll usually shuffle it away. So we're not going to, like, let it jeopardize our wins. We're going to see if they're good enough. But there are so many new cards in this deck that I feel like they will be our only options a lot of the time. So this should be pretty interesting. Opponent took 1 mulligan. And they're really tanking on this Thoughtseize. Looks like we're fighting Storm. They have Duress and Veil Summer. So that's not good. But I think, now that I'm a Storm expert myself, just kidding. But I did, yeah, that'll be out by now. I did recently record a video of the Epic Storm. I know that their mana will be stretched a little thin in order to accommodate Veil when they're going off. So I think I'm pretty interested in taking Duress. This could also be Doomsday with a pretty poor hand, because the Ponder is weird. Ponder is very weird. Yeah, as an Underground Sea, it's probably more likely Doomsday, so they can keep their Veil of Summers for the most part. They do not shuffle. They play a Lotus Petal and pass. Alright. I guess I'll play that, huh? Your turn. See? These lands are good. I played around Wasteland turn 1, which allowed that to come in untapped. Pretty solid stuff. And if this game ever hits a stall, which I kind of doubt it will, but if it does, I will be able to loot with it, which is cool. Alright, play Bowmasters. It might Veil just to deny me the army. They'll Brainstorm, that's fine. I think we can assume this Blind's Eye Diamond is going to go away now. Actually, there's no way they're going to Veil here. They probably need that Veil to try and protect themselves when they're going off. Braze B. Alright. I don't think this game will be long enough for me to reestablish the Bowmasters and get value out of that, so I'm just going to suck the army back to my hand. Pretty solid crash here. They're at 14. It really depends on if their sculpting has allowed them to win really quickly. Realm of Co. There's definitely no time for that. So would I just keep a basic swamp here? I don't think so. Would I keep more Bowmasters? I don't. Well, I think Veil will make that all the same as well. So I'm going to bin them both. Bolt is much better. I just need to not lose right now. They'll activate the Rainforest, Tropical Island, Brainstorm. You know, I was really hoping they were going to try and cycle that Veil. Because I have not cast a black spell. Kind of feels like I have, but I have not. I wish I had a red up, though. They even have enough life to Doomsday and win through a Bowmasters, so I definitely want to force Veil's Summer. It's really the only thing that makes sense. If they don't shuffle here, I think we can surmise we've lost. Unless they just are not expecting my Force of Will. Why not just force here? They don't have the mana to Veil right now. I think I need to see where this is going a little bit more. Right, Threshold. That's pretty good. I think I screwed up. Because why would they do this if they weren't about to win right now? Oh, it is Storm? This is like beyond shocking. Yeah, I'm about to lose. I screwed up. So I had to force that Cabal Ritual. I was thinking about it too. I was really thinking about it. Should have done it. I asked, why not force here? They had 4 cards in hand. Is this really necessary? Okay. Take Consign. Redirect Lightning. Yeah, I'll try it. Surgical. I'll play May as well. Meltdown could be okay. We won't really have time for Fire Nation Occupation. It's not really the right matchup for that. Edict can go. Bolt can go. Same with the Foggy Swamp Spirit Keeper. The card I don't really know why I'm playing. And then Mountain. Anything I'm missing? You could try a Red Blast. But I think I'll pass for now. Yes, I can make do with that. Opponent takes a mulligan. Let's cast Ponder. I think I'll shuffle that. I was kind of hoping for red mana. Misty Rainforest. I'm kind of expecting a discard spell here. Petal. Carpet. Oh, I don't mind that one. Nice. This could work out for us. Alright, Thoughtseize You. If they Veil here, we get their Petal as well. So good. I mean, I do have to force. That part's not as great, but still. If this was Volcanic Island, I could have cleared the way. Or maybe they would have Veiled in response. Do I want Strix or Ponder? I think I need the Ponder, unfortunately. Regrettably. Now this Meltdown feels bad. Alright, take Infernal Tutor. Sure. I'll try and mill over the Brainstorm. I mean, Badlands. Even though I talked so much about wanting a red source. Now I need action. But taking Force Blue card is a nice stop on the way. They're making mana? Oh, they drew a cantrip. That's not good. Please shuffle? I know how hard it is to play Storm with so little resources. I was in that position quite often, but they don't shuffle. Infuriating. Give them some mana. Bin that. Brainstorm. There's May. Alright. It's not bad. Dark Ritual. So they have Cabal Ritual and one unknown. Is it Infernal Tutor? Aye, it might be. I could have waited for them to cast Cabal Ritual. But they might have done that. And then held priority. Yep. Nice. Yeah. It was like, okay. Play that. It's the clock. And storming through it is probably kind of hard. This will be our opposition agent for this league. There's the Meltdown. We'll just try and hold them off. It's kind of a reverse Tendrils, right? Each point of storm will cost them 2 life. They gain it all back once they cast the Tendrils, but they might not have the life total to do it. So does that mean as long as my life total is 4 points higher than theirs, they can't win through May? That's kind of cool. And it currently is, so as long as I don't contribute to the storm count, let's just get this out of the way. Either way, they're taken two. They dropped the Cabal Ritual we knew about. I'll play that out. Yeah, they might need to try and bounce this thing to go off. Seems just as bad as Gaddock Teague right now. I feel like they'll need a storm of more than 4 to win. Yeah. I don't think I change anything here. Red blasting their cantrips is fairly effective. I don't know if it's better than Cling to Dust, though. It's a little more narrow. And thus, I will run it back. This is a pretty fast Kaito. It also has Force of Will. Could be pretty good. Yep. So I don't really have to play into that much. Play a Badlands, and I'll Thoughtseize them. Yeah, I think I'll take the Veil. I'll have to force that anyways. And if I can extract them, if I hit Surgical at some point, that would be pretty cool. Underground Sea. Ponder, yep. Hoping for a shuffle here. Yep, good. I assume they're looking for protection or more mana. Next turn I'll probably have to play the Sewers, but it shouldn't really matter. We're kind of past the point where them having more mana is super ruinous. They'll cast Infernal Tutor, revealing Dark Ritual. So they got 2 Dark Rituals, and presumably another payoff too, if they're willing to just do that. Play Bowmasters. Alright, so do I get Kaito in, or do I hold up Kolaghan's Command? I think I'll hold up Kolaghan's Command. And if I don't have to use it, I'll probably just cast it at the end of their turn. They will Surveil, and put a card on top. Uh-oh. Now what could that mean? Dark Ritual, Dark Ritual, Dark Ritual, Beseech. Alright, so here I have them discard, and I guess deal 2. And if they Veil in response to that, I'll just counter the Beseech with Veil on the stack. Alright, they didn't have it. It was an Infernal Tutor though, so they could have gone again, presumably. So I'll force the Beseech. And that's good enough for them. Nice. So a bit of a blunder in game 1. Probably should have known that it was Storm and not Doomsday. Should have countered the Cabal Therapy or Ritual. Now I was thinking about it. Y'all heard me. I was like, why not just counter this? But I didn't. But fortunately we were able to convert post side. Welcome back to the second round. Opponent's taking a mulligan. I will keep this double force hand. That can't double force quite yet. Not exactly sure what my opponent's up to. And maybe we'll even see some new cards, who knows. Misty Rainforest. That black creature, can't I remember the name, May, was pretty interesting last game as a kind of inverse tendrils. I thought that was really cool. Looks like we're fighting Delver. They said no to the second Scalding Tarn, and they're looking at my top card. Should I play around Daze? They have 3 cards. It's really hard to say. I think I will. It'd be a pretty tragic thing to validate a Daze from here. Although I will say if they get to Delirium, I might be tempted. But mostly we also want to force Corey Steelcutter and not have that get dazed, which is also very important. Wasteland. Ponder. Yeah, they'll probably have Delirium, but I think I'm going to take 3 here. I think it's worth it. I just refuse to get dazed. I think I will get Wastelanded though. Unless I rip Basic Mountain off the top, which I don't want to do. I'd rather draw not a land. Another bolt is cool. Alright, we'll activate, grab a Badlands, cast Lightning Bolt, send it back. They have another one. They will Wasteland. They do not have another land. Or they're sandbagging a Wasteland. Hard to say. Am I cool with my Volcanic Island getting wastelanded? I think so. Same line. Okay. Brainstorm, sure. Can always hope they get a little jammed up off this. Yeah, it's not a shuffle. It is a DRC, which is pretty annoying, but they are down to 2 cards. They're blowing through their Brainstorm lock. I have adequate defense with this Baleful Strix, but they might have Lightning Bolt or something like that. We'll see. I hope not. Oh, Edict, that's pretty good too. Do I just do that? No, I want to get a good exchange here. They'll force. I'll force back. This should be backbreaking for them to fight through. And at this point, I just need to not... I mean, they saw the edict from the Mishra's Bauble. Did they just, like, completely lose the desire to fight? Because they scooped the whole match. I don't know. Sorry if this Bleak's video is a little shorter than normal. But I mean, that is pretty much how that matchup goes. Game 1 is the scariest because they can aggro you out. But we were fortunate enough to have 2 lightning bolts. And yeah, post side it gets better. I mean, we might run into it again before the league is over because I think it is quite powerful and a really good option if blue-black tempo doesn't really feel adequate any longer. So let's think about the cards a little bit. Wanshi Tong, probably not great post side because of red blast and stuff, but in game 1, probably pretty good. Azula, yeah. This one's probably fine. Anything that is virtual card advantage. I don't think this card should be in my deck. I don't think I'd side any of the new cards in. Maybe Day of Black Sun, but against Delver, if you're bringing in a sweeper, you kind of also want to hit Murktide Regent. Although this would take out a bunch of Monk tokens if you're super behind on that metric. And then Redirect Lightning. Well, it's nice to be able to redirect spells against decks that use counter magic to protect their big threats. I don't know if paying 5 life is the right way to do that. It's kind of accomplishing... It's kind of counterproductive since Delver is an aggressive deck. And then, yeah, we wouldn't bring in that, obviously. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Dave Black Sun. I'll be back for round 3. Well, it's time for round 3. Got a couple new cards. I'll keep this. The hand's a little top-heavy, but if we're in a similar matchup to last round, well, that would be bad because we'd get wastelanded out of the game. But if that doesn't happen, we might have some stuff to do here. Eye of Ugin. Oh, shit. Well, I am bringing quite a bit of heat here. I would like to hit some more lands. Shoot. I can play that. I don't think my opponent's going to search their library. I think Bowmasters adds more power to the board. And that might be pretty helpful too. But I could cast it, which is worth noting. Ancient Tomb, Fleshraker, no follow-up, no follow-up, no Lotus Petal. Oh, that's pretty good. I think I just need to bolt this now before they get even more mana, because they could cast another one, but it's kind of rough. I should have done that before that resolved. That was stupid. Kind of praying to hit a land next turn. It would be kind of nice if they went Petal, Chalice on 1, then I drew a land. That did not happen. It's fine. Another bolt. Okay, well, I think I'm going to try and defeat one of these, because now it's starting to look more like I should probably try to burn them out, depending on how dependent they are on Ancient Tomb. Probably not very with that Eldrazi Temple. Reality Smasher. Holy crap. And now I'm starting to feel like I need an Edict for sure. I don't know why I just did that. Double block there. I guess I'm still trying to burn them out. Cling. I need to hit a land. This is going nowhere. Okay, I hit the land. So I'll bolt the Battle Mage. They have 3 cards though still, which is not great. If they continue to apply pressure, it's not going to end very well. Alright. Bolt this thing. Great. They can't play a creature. They can't wasteland me, kind of. Ape. Are they going to play a Spear Guide? This insulates them from an Edict, which is pretty bad for me. I mean, if I draw Edict, I could still maybe clear it out of the way. I can Kaito. It's getting kind of late for that. Yeah, I think I'm just going to 1 here, which is very ironic because if I had bolted the Fleshraker, I could have been at 2 and maybe fetched. I want to tap this down. I won't have to pay the ward, which is notable. I wonder if I should just play Fire Nation Occupation. I might lose to something like Devourer of Destiny, but if they add another creature to the board next turn, it won't matter anyways. I think I will Kolaghan's Command, shock the Spirit Guide, and have them discard. I'm hoping they're just flooded here. Oh, they have Linebreaker too. Oh, Obligator. Well, I mean, if I had Bowmasters, I could survive, but I don't, so that'll do it. Just couldn't quite develop the way I wanted to. Okay. Price of Progress is good. I think I will take Day of Black Sun. Fatal Push and Consign are great. At the end of the last week's video, the trophy run, I mentioned Eldrazi would be kind of a tough matchup for Grixis Control, as always. Side out some of the slower stuff. I'm gonna keep Wan Shi Tong. Yeah, Cling to Dust is not fantastic in this matchup either. I think Lost in Memories will be a little slow as well. It also might get blown out by like Kozilek's Command, which is like not terrible, but still something. Not to mention, it might be kind of hard to get it through. No, this does synergize pretty well with Firebending, even though your opponent can choose to then block after you spend that mana. I don't know. There's a lot of weird lining up here. I don't know if I should keep Katara either. Although I'll trim Thoughtseize first. So maybe I can take Zhao instead of Katara? Sure. I will try it out. Alright, unfortunately I have to mulligan this. Yikes. This is not lucky. Opponent keeping 7 while I'm on the play. Still a 1-lander on 5. That is pretty strange to only see 1 land in 3 hands. I don't think we can win this, but I'll do my best. Yeah, I'll just be about surviving. I think I need to keep the Kolaghan's Command though, since the hand just kind of gets shut down by Chalice. Tough. Wasteland, okay, well, guess I'll hold for a bit. Interesting. I should really try to hit a land. Cast Brainstorm. Okay, we did hit. Can make this a Zhao game. Go like this. Well, their mana's pretty slow, I gotta say. Petal. That's a little faster now. Obligator. I really wish I had Bowmasters. I should not have shuffled them away, but also I don't want to get wastelanded, so I think I do play Mountain here. Right? Yeah. It's just insane. if they choose to wasteland me. And we'll see what Zhao is capable of. That was a good draw. Do that first. Play that out. See if it makes them considerably slower. Ayavugan would be largely unaffected here. So if they go like Ayavugan, Thought Not Seer, I would definitely interact with that. Force a Will. Not quite relevant yet. It's cool that this card has Menace. And I don't know if we'll ever get to 7 mana, but I will Blood Moon them at that point. They do have a Wastes, which is, you know, what can you do? Another Wasteland. Obligator. They can't pay. This seems like a fine spot for Kolaghan's Command. I'll lose my Revolt. So put them to 3 cards, which is still too many. Snapcaster Mage. Alright. That's not bad. They don't have a Cavern of Souls. And if they played one, it would enter tapped. I feel like they have Kozilek's Command. As badly as I want to snap Bolt here, I don't think it's responsible. Yeah, we'll just force. Baleful's Tricks. Don't mind if I do. Kaito? Oh man, I really hope they don't Thought Not Seer next turn. We could really be cracking in business. Flesh Reiki. That card's pretty annoying. That will enter tapped unless I ninjutsu Zhao. And I think that's okay. Bounce that. Trigger Revolt. Play Badlands. Push Flesh Raker. Activate Kaito. It's been Brainstorm. I feel like I've been dodging Chalice for a long time. And then keep Bowmasters to keep the pressure up. And they did not play a land for a while. Not sure why. But they might really need the mana. Okay. That's not good. Reality Smasher. Well, the trample's pretty good on that. They can take Kaito out. That is the plan. I think I'll still block, because Smasher is powerful. I could have plussed the Wasteland. Alright, cast Ponder. That's tough. I can't cast Wan-Shi Tong. Kolaghan's Command is pretty good. I think I'm going to shuffle, though. Okay. Play Zhao again. I think the Menace is pretty good. I do still wish I had Kaito, though. That's tough. They have Kozilek's Command. It's pretty good. So Bowmasters would have been better. If they main phased this in the first place, they might not have. They're at 11. Price of Progress is like close to working, but the lack of Ancient Tomb is hurt. 3 top. Wow. Don't see that too often. Alright, cast Ponder. Sure, I'll take a land. Pass the turn. Chalice on 1. Well, I will Brainstorm then. Alright. Put that on top. If they follow this up with, like, Thought Not Seer, I can blink it. Cavern. Linebreaker. I can beat this thing. I'd rather race it, but I should probably just... Well, maybe I can combine Bowmasters and Kolaghan's Command and have it all. Although, Kolaghan's Command can then just get Bowmasters back instead. I'd be getting Strix back. And also... If there were Bowmasters in my graveyard, that would be easier. But there aren't, so... I also feel like I should probably Shatter the Chalice. They're also down to 1 card. It's really tempting just to have them discard, but they scryed 3 top with their Kozilek's Command, and they have not drawn through that yet. There's 1 more good card, allegedly, and they have a buffer in their hand, so it's a little rough. Yeah, I'll just get Strix. I need to keep the cards flowing. Yeah, I got Underground Sea. I really wish I could deal 2 damage to them, but I can't. Maybe they'll Wasteland me. No. Play Strix. Shoot. Pretty bad draw. Oh no. Oh, okay. I was like, is this Wastegate Battle Mage? But they'd be making green if that was the case. I might be able to beat this thing. Have a Fatal Push still in the deck, but no... What's it called? Revolt. That was a nice draw. Do I play this out? I guess so. There's only 1 Brainstorm left. And at the point I find it, I kind of want them to attack, right? Because then I attack back. Yeah. Man, this was like the draw that would really punish that attack. God damn it. Well, stupid. I have to block. Go to 7. Ancient Tomb. Alright, well, I could still rip Price off the top. That'd be nice. Fatal Push. We're close. Although at this point, unless they wasteland me, Price of Progress would also beat me. No, I'd be at 3, presumably. They're only attacking with the Smasher. It's kind of nice. So I might get to clock. Okay, yeah, they're flooding. All I need to do is rip in my top 2 cards here. Ponder. And Fire Lord Azula, okay. Ponder. There it is. Easy money. I cannot believe I won. That was a mull to 5. Oh, I said I'd do my best. Alright, so Chalice is confirmed. Can side out Thoughtseize. Change the target of spell or ability. So I can pay life to redirect a Glaring Fleshraker trigger. Or a 3 mana. I don't think that's better than anything else currently in the deck. I think Azula being a 4/4 kind of makes it not quite good enough. The stats just aren't quite there. So maybe Fire Nation Occupation is just better. A 2/4 with a lifelink. I'd rather have a 2/4 with lifelink than this difficult to cast creature that you need to untap with. Or is that entirely insane? I'm going to shoot for double Price of Progress. Okay, yeah. This hand is not bad. They don't really search their deck very much, but it's a blue card for force. Wastes. Chalice, you got it. No, they're down to 4 cards. That's pretty good for me. Bolt. Send it back. Wasteland. Wastecape Battle Mage. I think I'll try and get 2 birds stoned here. Ponder. Can't cast that yet. I'm going to take 2. A second Chalice? Well, that's a little complicated. Do I just need to force it? I really don't want to. Damn. Damn. Damn, boy. Damn, boy. Alright. Only because they're missing lands. Let's get to going. Okay, I don't think they're going to wasteland me, because they have, like, no mana. So I might be able to draw a card with One Tong. Pretty exciting. No play. It's wild. Destroy that artifact and deal 2. Brainstorm. Yeah, I would have felt bad if I didn't force that Chalice. Alright, we'll attack. I can loot with this too. It's pretty wild. Lotus Petal. Uh-oh. Thought Not Seer. Okay. Well, I'll have a 3/3 flyer. Maybe I should try and counter it though. If I rip Force, that'd be pretty sweet. I don't. Okay. I think they'll probably take Bolt, but they might take Brainstorm. Didn't really help their mana any. Yeah, they take Bolt. So I might get to do something cool. Move some cards around. Zao. That might put them in the pinch. That's crazy. Brainstorm. Put 2 lands back. Bloodstained Mire. Play Zao. Grab a mountain. Cast Ponder. Yeah, I think I will... You know, Day of Black Sun's actually not very good against Thought Not Seer, but I think double Fatal Push is kind of what I'm in for. And if things get really bad, I could board wipe, I guess, but I'm hoping I don't have to. I'm not going to bluff, though, because I feel like losing this for nothing would be bad. But yeah, we're pushing some real damage. Oh yeah, maybe that would have been actually a reason to do that, because it might have improved my clock. But yeah, if they didn't hit a land there, they're very behind. Menace is a real thing. Flying is a real thing. I cannot believe we pulled that off with some new cards too. Yeah, I mean, Wan Shi Tong was very good there. I'm not going to lie. Having Flash really changes the game on pretty much any creature. Nice. Here we go for round number 4. I'm on the play with an interesting hand. Triple Bolt. I mean, it's functional. I'm going to keep it. Triple Bolt. Opponent's taking a mull to 5, though. Unless they're playing Forge, I can't think of a combo deck where this hand would line up super well. I don't think I'm going to play around Wasteland. I think a big part of this game is going to be having double red to cash out all these lightning bolts. Or I guess casting Tong. I don't know. I think this mold of 5 is indicative of a sinister strategy. I'm going to shuffle. And I get Bowmasters. That's pretty good. Oh, okay. Wow. I'm completely caught off guard here. But I'm not punished. Crazy. So what am I up against? Eldrazi again? I'm kind of shocked. I'm not sure how good this hand is going to be. I think I should try and high roll and hit a land, though, after casting Bowmasters, because if I get Kaito rolling, it could be in pretty solid shape. Unclaimed territory, Eldrazi, yep. Fascinating. Petal. Oh no. Oh no! Oh no! Jesus Christ, what do I do? I think I'll just bolt them twice. Wait, no I won't. I guess I'll bolt them once? Is that even good? This is wild. This might sound crazy, but I think I am just gonna play Bowmasters still. And try and spike the land for Kaito. Yeah, well, I feel crazy. Oh, damn. This is real bad. I'm pretty sure we will lose from here. Thought not seer. I almost want to just go to the next game, but I'll keep playing. Unsurprisingly, they take Kaito. Lost in Memories. That's not really going to help. Yep, that card's pretty good. I think we'll take this hit. Alright, that land, excuse me, is a little late. It needed to come a lot earlier. That card's good too. I feel like I can play this completely wrong. I thought for sure I was playing against Storm for some reason. And then I played into Wasteland when I didn't have to. This mold of 5. Well, it did mind twist me for 5 to be fair, so I shouldn't be too hard on myself. Let's just go to the next game. This is ridiculous. I feel silly. We'll play the same way. We got pretty lucky to get the win last time. I don't know if we'll be this lucky next time, or be that lucky this time. I wonder if this is worth bringing in for like Wasteland. It's interesting. Or Thought Not Seer. Sure, I'll try it. What the hell? Then we'll trim our 1-drops, obviously, against the Chalice deck. Yeah, maybe Redirect Lightning's not actually a good choice for that reason. Just want to be a lot lighter on 1-drops in general. Flash Flying Creatures, though, quite good. I'm not incredibly ready for Eldrazi. It's kind of a deck I haven't faced for quite some time, but now that Entomb and Nadu have been banned, I should probably be ready to face it a little more often. I just haven't recently. Dude, it's Zao again. Remember how good that was last time? Really good. It did so much stuff. Opponent's taking a mold of 5 again. Doesn't mean much for Eldrazi, I will say. Zao's pretty good against Wastelands too. Well, at least let me see the Wasteland coming, you know? Which I do like. Ancient Tomb. Chalice on 1. I was prepared for this. Let's go ahead and get Underground Sea. Try and brainstorm the lightning bolt away. Can't quite do that. I think it'll be okay. We'll be stuck with 1. Let's get a Badlands. See how much this slows them down. Might be quite helpful. We'll see. They are going to dismember. Back online. With a Flesh Raker and 2 cards left. Alright. That will take some investment. Their life total is getting pretty low. I think I will try and play some Bowmasters out. Double Flesh Raker, though. It's a lot of damage. It's hard to race. Petal. Yikes. It's just so much damage. And they're not done. Oh my god. This is so absurd. Just absolutely absurd. No cards left, but like, doesn't really matter. I mean, maybe they'll just draw nothing but lands for a while. You never know. They took Strix. That gives them attacks with Thought-Knot Seer. And yeah, I wouldn't attack either. So Kolaghan's Command is a good draw. I'll just play that out. Try and stymie their attacks. Land is not bad. Can't really cast Price of Progress, unfortunately. Oh no. They did not draw a land, it seems. Yep, that's pretty annoying. In fact, I'm gonna lose. Whew. Well, that was some rough stuff, huh? Not very competitive. Alright, gonna try and shake off that last round. Did not go very well. Up against my buddy Hunting Jorgensen. Haven't been on the channel for a minute. So, we have some tough choices here in the 2-drop. Like, you probably want to play Katara if you want to try and get the full value out of that on turn 2. Start getting experience counters. But I feel like having Force of Will or Daze is going to make this a lot better. I don't have Daze. That's obviously not an option, but to have experience counters on the very first go around seems a lot better. Aether Vial. Uh-oh. This could be tough. I'm going to try and surveil a land here. Even though this is an Aether Vial deck, I think it's more important to hit a land. And there's Azula. Let's play Strix and not Katara, because this will draw a card immediately, which is better. Still no land. They wasteland my sewers next turn and I miss on a blue source. We could be in some trouble. We'll see. They could also just go Illusionist, Violin, Nomads, but they played Undercity Sewers. Esper. Esper Vial, no Yorion. This is very interesting. Yeah, I could really use a land here. Cast Brainstorm. Oh dear. Well, that's not good. Now I just wish I played a 2-drop. I can cling and work through it a little bit. Hide Edict on top. Rough stuff. I did everything I could to try and find a land. I surveilled away a card that was not a land. And I played Strix instead of Katara. What can you do? Not much sometimes. Actually, that was a fair amount of looks, to be honest. Skyclave Apparition? Not bad. I mean, it might turn my Strix into a 2-2 eventually if I can ambush. But generally, kind of on the hook. They also might Violin Bowmasters, which would actually be okay. They don't. Yeah, I think they're a little too good for that. I don't think Edict is ever getting better. I can wait to see if they Violin something on my end step. Oh, wait, no, I have priority first. See, that doesn't work. What's this? Felia? I don't think they're going to want to drop that. Yeah, they can just drop the Apparition and then attack with Felia, blink out the Illusion token, and be pretty happy with that. I'm sure they have something even better to do, though. Abhorrent Oculus. Yeah, that's pretty good. Glasspool Mimic. Oh my god. Yep. I can't keep up with this. They'll get 2 more 2/2s. I'll look at a couple more cards in their deck, but I think I have a pretty good idea of what's going on here. Still nothing. Alright, yeah, let's go to the next game. Crazy game. There's a land. Okay. Red Blast. Fatal Push. The window to profitably interact with the Abhorrent Oculus is very slim. Day of Black Sun. Sweeper seems important here. Grindy creature seems important, although creatures that need to attack, not as good. I think I'll side out a Badlands, 1 Force of Will, 1 Thoughtseize. I want to side out Katara, but I mean, there's nothing on the line. Trophy got crushed last round, but I don't think it's that good in the matchup. 1 more cut. I could try to make Hydroblast less effective and side out Kolaghan's Command, but you generally want this card against Aether Vial decks. I'm going to side out Lost in Memories, even though it's a grindy card. The blowout potential is high with auras against decks with like Swords to Plowshares, or, you know, Felia. Okay, sure. I hope it goes a little better this time. Basically just means I need to hit some lands. Opponent takes a mulligan. And this deck might not play Wasteland. Aether Vial decks usually do, because Aether Vial cheats on mana, which allows you to use your land drop for other things. And Wasteland casts Aether Vial, so a lot of upsides. They don't have a play. Alright, let's surveil and look for a land. They're going to fetch in response. And Brainstorm. That's fine. Alright. Bin that. Wan Shi Tong. Okay. Well, I mean, that's a basic island, so if they fetch, I can get a card, potentially. Aether Vial. I have to let that go. Oh, interesting. Do I hold this? Try and get more value off of it? I think so. Because they might have a bunch of cantrips stuck in their hand. That would have been an argument to force Aether Vial as well. And I think they are thinking about forcing Bowmasters. But I think I need to be a little more patient. Okay, I think they have Force. Which means my Force should fight their Force. Which means... Uh-oh. I know they're Brainstorm locked, so... If I can hit a land here, that would be great. Okay, cool. Things are normal now. Deck behaving normally. Theirs is not, on the other hand. The roles are kind of reversed. I mean, they had way more pressure than I did last game. But yeah, we'll see if we can get this done. I probably should flash this in, but I'm not going to. Because now I can actually draw a card with it. And I think I'll main phase it before this Aether Vial gets 2 counters. I guess I should do that on their upkeep before Aether Vial goes to 2, since this card is quite vulnerable to Bowmasters. And I guess I'll play on basics as well, because like I said, I do theorize this deck is a wasteland deck. Okay. It's a 3-3. It drew a card. They fetch. Probably get another draw, but they hit a natural land, which is a little rough. Now they have tricks at their disposal with the Vial on 2 and 2 mana. This comes in untapped, which is nice. If I had another Force, I could hardcast this one, but I think I need to keep as many effects up as possible. So I think I'll just attack with Wan Shi Tong down to 11. Yeah, I think I can just chill. This gives me a lot of flexibility. Felia not vialed in is interesting. What are they hoping for? To not get an edict? So I would need to force this, essentially. Then I would be shields down. Unless I pitch cast. Can I afford to do that? I don't know. Blinking Wan Shi Tong would turn it into a 1-1. I would not draw any cards off that. Maybe double edict is good enough, though. Alright, I'll edict right now. And what comes in? Bowmasters. Not too surprising. Probably need to edict this too. Doesn't ever get better. And I want to represent Red Blast. I don't want them to force that. Now I'm starting to feel like I'm kind of low on cards. Because I've been making land drops and they haven't. So they have 6 in hand. And they're not hitting any fetch lands. This is criminal. Recruiter. I mean, if it gives me a card, sure. Now what the hell is this? More Bowmasters? I mean, sure. Getting Felia. They do get a trigger. Strix is good, but, I mean, not right now. Land. If I ponder, I do scale Wan Shi Tong to be at parity with the army, which is not great. Non-active player would resolve first, though, so I would get a 1-1 that does not exist on the board before they have to assign the trigger. So that's interesting. Yeah, sure. And it has lifelink. It's not bad. We love lifelink. They've had so many chances to cast Daze. Kolaghan's Command. Yeah. Gotta hide it on top, though, of course. I'm sure logo face. Yep. But I got a 1-1 that can't be blocked except by spirits. Alright, hit for 4. They are at 7. I feel like once I shatter the Aether Vial, it's going to be hard for them to do anything fast enough. I likely need to ignore the army, though, and just assume I can race it. Yep, nothing here. No Kaito. Wasn't really expecting it. It's not the most synergistic with Aether Vial. Okay, so I could force the action and not get punished further when I make a token with Foggy Swamp, but I don't think that's a good idea. So I'll just have to make this a 5-5, which means I should attack with the Spirit token first. I could also just shock them. If they don't do anything about this attack, they would go to 2. Vial activated. Baleful Strix. Holy cow. Wild. Alright. Destroy that artifact. And yeah, I think I'm just dealing 2 to Strix, so I can keep my clock. Or, I think I just go for lethal here. Shatter Strix, deal 2 to them. Yeah. They have Felia and 3 unknowns. I'll force back, obviously. They'll draw. They have swords, yeah. Well, I could still ponder into Bolt, I guess. And since they're cramped on white mana, I think I'm going to fetch first as well, since the next card was not a Bolt. Ponders another look at a Bolt, but gives them another Bowmaster trigger, which is not great. Yeah, we can just shuffle, I think. Yeah, Force of Will. Yeah, this is kind of falling apart. All I really need is a Bolt. I can even hardcast the Force to push it through. I wonder if they drew swords off that Strix. Felia's in. Quantum Riddler. It's a lot of cards. Tameo. Can't block this. It's kind of cool. I could block. No, I'll block next turn. Okay, cool. Bolt you. Interesting use of the new cards there, I must say. See if I can take the final round here. I mean, they had a lot of room to breathe that game, since Hunding missed on land for quite some time, had a hard time developing. So you can see with some forgiveness, these cards do some cool stuff. I mean, the stats on this are pretty decent. 2-4 with lifelink. Those are some stats for 3 mana. Do I want this Force of Will? Do I want Consign? Consign is a lot better on the play. I think last game would have been the point I bring it in. I think I can side out Azula safely, since I know there's Swords to Plowshares deck. Yeah, let's really go for it. Let's try and take a 4-1 here. That'd be pretty cool, huh? And there's still plenty of new cards. Plenty of new cards. Maybe, I should have brought in Redirect Lightning too, because that card has not done anything yet. I'll mulligan this no-lander. Sure. Should I keep that? Yeah, utility lands are pretty important. Okay, we dodge the turn 1 Aether Vial. Good draw. Can't really surveil with this setup because I want to play this untapped next turn. Island, Brainstorm, resolves. Yeah, what do I really have these red blasts in for? Oh, I mean, Quantum Riddler is a very good reason to have red blast in. Strand go, you got it. Suppose I'm just playing Delta instead then. Fire Nation Occupation. It's a good hammer. I'm expecting Felia here. No? No Recruiter either. I don't want to be the first to tap out. Grab a Swamp. And pass. The second Bowmasters is really sweet. I mean, I think a land might have been a little more secure feeling, but this is not bad. They're playing on straight basics over there. Probably playing around, like, what's it called? Price of Progress? Hull Breacher. Good card. There's Wasteland. Ooh, that's so bad. I was really hoping this would not come into play. Make a blue. Yeah, I'm just forced to play Bowmasters here. Brainstorm. Redirect Lightning wouldn't have even done much here. There would have been nothing to redirect it to, other than my Bloodstained Mire, and then I could have fetched in response. Could hold off the attack by pinging Hull Breacher probably, but it's much more important to do things that matter. Because at the end of the turn, if they don't do anything else, I am just going to bolt the Hull Breacher. And I hate that I have to play into Wasteland more, but it's important to have as many options available to you as possible. Force of Will pitching Quantum Riddler? Why do they want that Hull Breacher so badly? Am I about to get comboed? That was a good draw. Alright, well, bolt again. And then we'll attack. No Felia. Land. Activate. At this point, probably don't consign. Oh, okay, this makes sense too. What's it called? I can get my red mana off this though, which is interesting. Really glad I got the swamp, because I was really thinking about getting the mountain. Playborn Bowmasters gives me an attack with this army token. I can just Edict as well. I don't know, I think I should get this hammer in, because then if I can cast an Edict on their turn, that'd also be pretty good. These 2/2s, quite good. Land... Is this a Quantum Riddler? Oh, Witch Enchanter. No! My shit! Ah, I'm a little sad now. Just a little sad now. Oh, that was good. Do I do it this turn? I don't think so. Although, I can still hold up Consign, thanks to the firebending. I will lose a token in the process. That's so good. Yeah, seems like a fair block. Ninjutsu. They are at 6. Activate. Yeah, I'll take Force of Will. Then Thoughtseize. Getting the GGs. Ooh. Yeah, the new card's put in quite a bit of work in that control mirror, which makes sense. I feel like I chose some grindy ones. So yeah, other than kind of a steamroll of a match against Eldrazi in round 4, which you can choose to look at that however you like. I mean, does it make sense that a slightly less focused or extremely less focused and abnormal version of Grixis Control that already has some struggles against Eldrazi lost to Eldrazi? Yeah, it does make sense. But we also beat the same matchup in round 3, which was a pretty amazing match, I will say. Yeah, I gotta say, again, I apologize that match 2 was cut so short, but I think this was a nice showcase for the cards. I think this felt pretty similar to like the Duskmorn video and the Modern Horizon 3 video, which really says something in that there were a lot of cool playable options here. I don't think Katara is good enough. I don't think Lost in Memories is good enough. I mean, we never really got to experiment with them, to be fair, but at the same time, I can kind of visualize them. It's hard to do that when you're just looking at the card in spoiler season, or even if you're theorizing in the deck builder, but once you're actually in a match and you have these cards, your state of mind just really evaluates them for what they are, I think. The lands, I wish I could do more with them. I had the option to use Agna Kela, and it felt good to have that option. It's probably not better than the rock solid mana base, but it is an option. It feels a lot like Mistrise Village in its power level. Same with Realm of Ko. It's a lot of mana. This one feels a lot like Quarry Mountain Monastery, in fact. Yeah, the Dragonstorm Tarkir video actually felt pretty similar to this one in the amount of cards that just had a lot of cool options to them, and the fact that there are also 2 lands that we get to sub in. I'm having fond memories of that video. Fire Nation Occupation seems like a great grindy tool, and I was completely wrong about firebending, it should be pointed out. I thought it left like normal mana, but no, it stays for the entire combat, so you have quite a few phases where it can pay for ninjutsu, so that's super interesting and super cool. Azula, yeah, I mean, untapping with this is going to be difficult. We never got to live the dream. It's a lot like Kess in that regard. I think Kess might be a little better, but, you know, not by much. Wan Shi Tong, this one really needs more evaluation. It needs more testing. It's got tons of stats. It has flash. That's what makes it hardest to evaluate in my eyes. So I'll definitely be playing a lot more of this. I hope the price comes down soon so I can use my not DB account and really get competitive with it. And then, yeah, Foggy Swamp Spirit Keeper sure did the job when it had a lot of room to breathe. In the sideboard, I liked May quite a bit against Storm. Day of Black Sun is like pretty much every sweeper I try out. I never really get to use it, but if this sweeper seems like up your alley, I say go for it. It's probably not better than Toxic Deluge, but I just want to say it's out there if you want to try it. Zhao is completely awesome against Eldrazi. Menace is a big deal, and then we don't often get these kind of stacksy effects, so it was fun to play around with that too. And then Redirect Lightning, never got a chance to use it, so got to re-examine that one too. I think all in all, this was a successful experiment. We got to see more new cards than usual in action, so I'll count this as a success. And I guess I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for the support. Check out the Patreon if you'd like to support the channel. More fun videos like this on the way. And yeah, I'll catch you next time.